Welcome back, everyone, to another wonderful episode of the Qualified Podcast. With me today, I have the lovely Rhea Cofer, and she is going to be giving us the lowdown on her cleaning service, Artisan Clean Pro. Clean Pro or Clean Pros?
Clean Pros.
Pros, multiple, definitely multiple. Awesome. So thank you for joining me. Just what's a little background on you? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? All that.
Good stuff. Okay, so I am from Ohio, born and raised.
Okay.
I spent grew up there, went to school there, graduated from a small college in Columbus, Ohio. Background is finance and accounting. That is what I have my bachelor's degree in. So started my career off with JP Morgan back in Ohio, transferred for a bigger role to Chicago, spent about 6-7 years in Chicago in the private bank. And then COVID happened and we went fully remote, sold the house in Chicago, moved down here to South Florida. We're in Fort Lauderdale since 2021 and been here ever since. 2021, left corporate America and ventured off and became an entrepreneur through no choice. Markets took a turn overnight, income drastically changed, and I had a choice at that point. Do I want to stay in corporate America and just find another position, or do I want to try to become an entrepreneur? And I did. So I took my pension, I left, I built my first business up just because of my background. Naturally, the natural transition I went with was a bookkeeping and accounting firm. I built that to multiple six figures today, still running that business today. And now we've ventured off and continued that business. And now we're doing the cleaning business, which launched in January, which, we'll go obviously into more detail with that. So now we have two businesses going, both doing great right now.
And one that you obviously are using for the other. And I'm sure there might be some people who might be asking after this interview about the bookkeeping services for their cleaning service or their service-based business.
I mean, I obviously do my own books. There is, we're probably all using payment processors. We all probably have our Stripe or Authorize.net connected to Booking Koala. There is a proper way to do that accounting coding. So, yeah, don't hesitate to look me up and reach out if you guys have questions.
Definitely. What part of Chicago were you in when you lived here?
So I lived in the city. So
Okay.
yeah, so we lived in the city, right by Logan Square.
Logan Square, not far from where I'm at. I'm in on the edge of Lakeview East and Wrigleyville.
Okay, so my first apartment when I moved to Chicago was in Lakeview, right underneath the Paulina Brown Line stop.
Know exactly where that's at.
Yep. Love the neighborhood. But when
Great
came
area.
time to buy, we moved to Logan Square. I miss it. I love Chicago. I miss it every day. But you can't beat year-round summer season. So
That's true, especially the way we have winters here.
yes. I think when I left Chicago, there was 5 feet of snow in my backyard when I moved to Florida that day. And when we arrived on the plane, we got to our house and went swimming that day. So very drastic.
What a drastic change, right?
Yeah, we just left 5 feet of snow and the kids are in the pool in the afternoon. Crazy.
Nuts. Speaking of kids, when you were a kid,
Mhm.
did you know your aspirations? Were you stuck on one thing? Was it corporate America? Was it business owner? Was it something else?
Absolutely. So when I was a kid, like I said, I grew up in Ohio, farm town. We're talking population 10,000, very blue collar kind of work. I always just knew, that's where I was from, and born and raised, and I'm used to cornfields and bonfires and camping and fishing and all that, and love it. But something inside me, like, I just didn't want to be a small town girl. When I was younger, my dream was career obsessed New York girl, right? When I was a kid, I was going to make it to New York City and live there, build a career and just go from there. And then as I got older, you kind of, the whole phrase of like, you are who you hang with definitely holds true. When I was in high school, I definitely hung around the best crowd of people. There was a lot of different choices and a lot of different directions to take in a small town. I hung out with more of the athletic type folks, cheerleader, marching band, straight A student, which then, a lot of folks went the blue collar route where I'm from, which not to talk down on that. Our country is built on that, and I respect that. That just wasn't for me. Number one, because I did do the work. I worked in the factories. And I was like, I can't do this for a living. So I went to school, got my degree. I've always loved numbers. I've always been an analytical person. I was in a lot of gifted programs growing up in school. So I chose finance and accounting for my background. And then as soon as like my early 20s, I got out of the farm town. And I guess for that, you could say I moved to the big city, which was Columbus, which to me was a big city.
Sure.
And then that's where I finished my degree. JP Morgan and Chase has a very, very strong presence in Columbus, Ohio. I think they have like 3 or 4 major offices there. After 3 years of applications, I finally got my door in JP Morgan as a temp, proved myself, hired on in 30 days, and you just climbed the corporate ladder, as you could say. Did amazing work, covered Chicago markets, Los Angeles markets, did a ton of private lending for major high net worth, ultra high net worth clients. And then that's when, like I said, took the change in role, took another position in Chicago, built my career up, climbed the ladder even more, made crazy money, loved it. But again, with all that said, the markets are the markets. They can turn on us anytime. And I think we can all remember in early 2021 when interest rates went from like 3.5 to 7% overnight. And that's
Yeah.
where I literally was making, 5-figure income every month to 4-digit income overnight. So that's when I had to make the change and make the decision, like where was I going to go from here. It's so easy to say corporate America, it's a safe place to go. You get your pension, you get your retirement, you wait for that bonus and all that. But at the end of the day, it was just like, I just felt like I had way more in me. I've always wanted to be my own boss. I hated working under folks. And so at that point, I took a risk. I did research and, during my downtime, I built up an entire platform, a business, SOPs, research softwares, foundations, built an entire business over, during my downtime, took my pension, left, launched it, and networked like crazy. We made over 6 figures our first year with like 65-70% profit margins. And
Wow.
we've grown it from there. So that business is doing very, very well, very strong. And it is what led me to now I'm like, I don't want to keep all my eggs in one basket. That kind of I've built that business so strong where it's kind of on autopilot with the team and the training I put in place to allow me to explore other business opportunities, which led me to starting the residential and commercial cleaning business, which completely different, right? It's not finance, it's not accounting, but absolutely love this business. I could work on this business sun up, sun down and never get sick of it. Not to say the automations and the systems that we have also made this an extremely easy business to scale. That's why I really like the business model. And when I researched and looked at software, I was like, this is truly the route to go. And it was obviously a really good decision. We had some bumps along the way, which we'll obviously get into. But once we found our groove, we're really taking off now.
So you mentioned you started January of this year, the cleaning service, Artisan
Correct.
Clean Pro.
Yes.
Inspiration was you just didn't want to work for quote unquote the man anymore. You wanted something, you wanted that solidified, I can't get dropped. I'm not going to lose income if something happens, you just want
Exactly.
to be sure of everything.
Yeah, and it's like built up this bookkeeping and accounting firm. I've built up a team of bookkeepers, project managers. We have amazing systems in place over there. So it's kind of on autopilot. So I'm sitting here and it's like I have so much time in my day. And it's like, okay, do I just enjoy the freedom and just, I'm doing good. This business is paying my bills. It's giving me my living expenses, my extra money. I could be fine. But for me, I'm not a person who likes to sit idle. I'm young. I want to stay busy. And the business model through a lot of things, just social media, right?
Sure.
Facebook, I just kept seeing this business model on Facebook and I just really thought about it, watched videos about it and just putting on my like accounting and analytical hat, like I could really do this. This is super simple. I could scale it with the right systems. Profit margins are obviously not what I'm making in this. They are smaller, but I mean, I quickly learned like, okay, I just got to build up my recurring, right? That's where the money's at. And obviously commercial contracts. So I'm like, this is so simple. And I'm like, I'm like, I can do this. So I did. And I took the time and kind of came up with a name, spent time on the logo, did the whole business aspect of things, the tax information, the LLC, getting all those ducks in order. And then from there, I started doing some training, when going through some workshops, learning the scope of it, researching the best systems out there. Like, how are people running this, right? You hear booking koala, booking koala, booking koala. Then I heard ZenMaids. I heard Jobber because, you need a CRM to run this to make it scalable. And so then that's where I was like, okay, well, what software do I go with? And so that's where I looked at ZenMaids. I looked at Jobber and Booking Koala. And it was very, very simple. Like, number one, all the Facebook groups, 90% of people are on Booking Koala. I mean, it dominates the market and it dominates for a reason. Number one, costs. What other software for $57 are you going to get the features that you get? I am on the $57 plan. Yes, I am capped on my cleaners. I have 15 cleaners. The only reason I would ever need to upgrade is if I get more cleaners. But if I'm having to upgrade from, say, 57 to the next plan because I need more cleaners because I have that much business, well, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
So if I've got to spend a little more money on software because I have so much business, I need more cleaners, I don't look at that as a problem. I think that's a good sign to say how well I'm operating as a business. So Booking Quality gives me every feature I need, are able to take our pricing parameters are set. We've got those down. They're solid. We have our providers in there. They're set up. We're taking bookings, giving quotes in under a minute. Have the feature for our customers to book now on the website. We can send quote links to the client. If they want to just get a quote, we can text it to them in seconds. I mean, literally, you can have a call with a client, get information, and give them a quote in less than a minute just because of the proper structure that we set up when first signing up at Booking Koala. Now sky's the limit. So here it's just a matter of scaling. We started off with residential. We're now doing some cold calling to bring on commercial stuff. And then another thing that has really been a game changer was adding additional services. Still under the same $57 plan, I have multiple industries. So I have my home cleaning and residential cleaning. I have my commercial cleaning. I have my carpet and upholstery cleaning and tile and grout cleaning. I have my pressure washing. I have my window cleaning. I am operating all of those, again, all automated forms that were built out with pricing parameters, all in one hub that I can easily click and book within a minute, all on a $57 plan. Where else are you going to go and get that? So, I mean, it sells itself. So I've never.
I mean, you just sold it. If you're looking for a job, you're hired. That's your interview right there. I mean, wow. We're gonna get like my questions for the software were later on, but you kind of just nailed everything right
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I love it. I get a new cleaner, I onboard them in seconds. I get them their invite, they're onboarded in seconds. Now, I do use Go High Level.
Okay.
I do work with a company that has a custom Go High Level Clean Genie that is definitely customized with built-in automations that is integrated to Booking Koala. So when we get new customers, when we send quotes, it's integrated, it's automatically flowing. But Go High Level, we do use for automations like nurture sequence, long-term nurture sequence. When someone's been quoted, automatically sends follow-ups to them. When a job is completed in Booking Koala, it is triggering them a flag if it's a one-time customer or if it's a recurring client, sends specific automation messaging in that direction. one time, tries to pick them up for recurring, and it also automates a follow-up. How was your service? Were you happy? Very satisfied. Boom, sends a link for a Google review. So now that I would say paired with Booking Koala is why it's so seamless. For me to scale up, it's no problem. I keep an Indeed application going at all times with a list of candidates. So when I'm ready, I can tap into that anytime. And I just break it up over territory because so we're in South Florida, right? We're based in Fort Lauderdale. We're on the East Coast. So we started off West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And then we joined a coaching program with Parker. And he was like, hey, if it's within 100 miles, you could do a satellite office, add it to LSA. The next thing up, because there's a lot of swamp in Florida, Southern Florida, the next real metropolitan area is Port St. Lucie. So we added Port St. Lucie and two directly connected counties to that, and which has contributed to, thousands each month just by adding that as a service or as a territory. So we added that. And as of last week, we now just finished all of the website updates um, and our territories. And we've now expanded to Tampa, which is on the Gulf Coast. So now we are getting ramped up. And again, all in Booking Koala, all on the same plan. Now we have another territory. So we're about to just do the same thing we did here. And now we're going to do it in Tampa, start out residential, start to drip in commercial, start to drip in those other services, build that up, get that profitable. And then boom, your next location, we want to go to Naples, Fort Myers area, next Orlando. So just expanding on locations, which I think is, again, all capable and Booking Koala very easily. Because the pricing parameters are set, we're easily able to like just duplicate, create a new location, add the existing services that we're already offering. I can add a new location in minutes. So it's been amazing. We added Tampa. All I had to do is throw my zip codes in, check all the services I'm going to do in Tampa that were already built out. Boom, I have a new territory instantly. So
Crazy.
it's been
Crazy.
it's been a good ride.
So my question is, you started of this year, right? Why are you expanding so quickly into all these cities with all these extra industries? I mean, we're second week into September of your first year, and you're in what seems like half of Florida with multiple industries. So, kind of what's the reason behind it, and has it been successful? I mean, it seems like it is if you keep doing it, right?
Right. So like my first year, like I looked at it like, okay, I want to build up this platform. Now, this also came from I had the money to invest, right? Because I didn't want to be a slow growing company. I knew what
How much did you invest in the beginning?
I mean with everything, the coaching programs, all of that, I mean, I would say easily like probably 10K, a little more.
Okay.
Um,
But
but
a good chunk went to the coaching programs.
100%. The operating expenses for the business, okay, not counting ad spend, the operating expenses to run the business are minimal. You just have a few software. I have my general liability, I have my phone system, I have my Google Suite for my workspace, and Booking Koala. Those are what, 200 bucks maybe I'm spending there. The real cost comes down to your contractors that you're paying because we are on a contractor method. We're not doing W-2 because that, in my personal opinion, works better for me. And we pay our contractors. And then obviously we do ad spend. So for me, it was like, okay, I have the system. It's not costing me anything to add these additional services because what I do is I'm already advertising. All I got to do is check another box to include cleaning or upholstery, carpet, pressure washing, window washing. I just have to check a box on LSA and I can offer it, right? I'm already spending the money. And then in terms of the contractors are on, they get paid when I book a job. So I'm not losing money there. So, and then in addition, we have automations built out with our customers. After we have a successful first job, we have automations that go out to let them know, like, hey, we're so happy that you were happy with our service. We love that. By the way, Artisan Clean Pros also offers additional services such as, so we also slip it in there to talk about the additional services that we can offer to our customers. Sorry, South Florida, insane storm happening right now. So for me, it's like, okay, it's not hurting me or costing me money to have these additional services, have the pricing built in, and have it readily available to my customers. It's just additional revenue options. And so that's what we did with Fort Lauderdale. Now, we didn't do that in Fort Lauderdale until probably the past 45 days. We've been strictly residential. And then added on those additional services to pick up some extra income through the advice of a coaching program that we're currently in. So now that that's profitable, we want to go to Tampa, and then that's where I'll probably pause. Like, we went to Tampa, get the residential going there, not focusing on anything else right now, just building up residential and getting a footprint there because we have to go through the lovely Google fun stuff of getting
Yeah.
the Google business profile approved for a second location. Nightmare. But again, that's, it comes with the business. So we have to get that, going right now. In the meantime, we're doing Facebook and Instagram marketing. We have a really good cost per lead. Those are converting. I think our cost per lead is like $6 right now on Facebook, which is amazing.
Wow.
So we've got a really good guy on that. So once the Google business profile gets done and approved, obviously we'll kick on LSA as soon as we can, because we did do Facebook and Instagram in the beginning for January through May of the business. Now our ROAS was like X, but we were still negative because of the ad spend and the marketing agency management fees. So it wasn't working, or I clearly wasn't with the right company. So we struggle like January through May, 5 grand, 6 grand, 7 grand, turned Facebook and Instagram off, fired the marketing agency, turned LSA on. From May to June, we went from 5 grand to 11 grand. July, we went to 16 grand. August, we went to 23 grand. And then for September, we'll obviously surpass that. So now it's like, okay, we found what's working. And then even then, I didn't even know there was more ways to optimize LSA. Had no clue. Go in there, rate every call. When you book a lead, mark it booked with the date of the service and the time. Those dramatically affect your top visibility. Had no idea. Started doing that last week. Our top visibility was 13%. Implemented all those changes on our past leads. This week, our top visibility is 31%.
Look at that.
So, and I can tell you right now, I see a difference. Last week, the phones were crickets. This week, the phones are ringing like every 5 to 10 minutes. So
Isn't that a great problem to have?
love it. Love it. I do have a VA just because maybe that was an expense I didn't need to bring on right in the beginning, but I chose to bring on a VA and train them. Number one, making sure that they have this experience, making sure they have the personality, because there's just some territories VAs are great and certain tasks are great for, and there's some things that they're not great for. I did learn that as well. So I think that kind of contributed to some of our conversions.
Sure.
So they could have been better, because I know if I get on a call, I know I usually convert like 60 to 70. But I can get really busy during the day. So we've got a new VA on, and his personality is great. Conversation amazing. And he's converting really, really well. So very happy with that. So yeah, that's where we are. Like I said, the marketing is what it comes down to. Some will say, I didn't choose to spend money on marketing. I chose to invest in SEO. And I think that's a very smart decision. I did not go that route. However, I have since gone that route, and we're like maybe 40 days into our SEO plan that we've implemented. And so we're optimizing our website. We're doing things to improve our ranking on Google Maps, because I really don't care about being on the first page of Google. I care about being in the top 3 on the map pack, because I don't personally feel people are scrolling through the Google pages. Most people are shopping in Google Maps. I personally don't go beyond Google Maps. And in addition to that, another reason I don't really go after folks that are like, oh, we'll get you on the first page of Google is because if you really look at the breakdown and setup of a Google page, how does it go? You have LSA first, you've got PPC under that, you have Google Maps under that. That's already half of the Google page, the first
Right.
page, right? So who really cares about what's under it? Do you want to be there? Sure, you do, but I care more about that top part, that LSA, Google Maps, and that's where I'm investing my money.
Competition in your area. What are you doing different from everybody else? I mean, you said it yourself,
Very
90%
competitive.
of these groups, they're using Booking Koala. So that back end software, essentially the same.
Right.
Most, if not a good chunk, contractor model, right? So
Mhm.
same thing there.
Mhm.
Marketing wise, same thing. Literally just name changes, it seems like, right?
I
So
would agree with that.
what are you how are you different than XYZ cleaning in South Florida?
Yeah. So, number one, I mean, some people chose to start this market where they don't live. I chose to stay close to home because it gave me a comfort level of being able to, if I've got to go step out to a job site, I'm here. If I need to go do an in person quote, the owner's showing up, my face is there. However, what I learned after the fact, South Florida, particularly Miami, Fort Lauderdale, highly, 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 highly competitive. Reason being is this part of the country, Miami and Fort Lauderdale, it's heavily filled with immigrants, right? Because we're right at the south of Florida. This is the port of entry. So there is a lot of immigrants here, and a lot of these women are choosing this industry to earn a revenue to take care of their family, which I'm all about that. I support that. I love that. But we're getting undercut on costs. What they're willing to do versus what I'm willing to do, a lot of times is just half the cost. And in the beginning, it kind of scared me. It's like, well, wait, did I choose the wrong market? Then, through some coaching and some mindset changes, what is also down here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale is money. There's a lot of people with money who want to pay for consistency, quality, right? So where number one, I kill it on customer service. We're reaching out before, during, and after a cleaning. We're following up. We're offering discounts. My cleaners, I'm not hiring anybody with under 10 years experience. So I know when I'm sending a cleaner in there, I know that the job's going to get done and it's going to get done the first time. Now, I also offer a great customer portal. Maybe they've seen it before, maybe they haven't. I have quick, seamless, automated billing. Again, I'm able to send the same cleaner. You're not dealing with a big corporate like Made Pro or something like that down
Some
here,
franchise,
or from franchise that is paying their cleaners $15 an hour. I'm paying my cleaners minimum, they're making 25 to 30 an hour on a job, and I'm booking it every day. So, I offer quality, I offer great customer service, new discount promotions. I also say I am not, this is a business. We're insured, we're licensed. Every one of my cleaners has been doing this for 10 plus years. So, with that, it's going to tell you that my cleaners are older. It's going to come with more work ethic. Not to speak down on the younger folks, they're hard workers too. But these ladies that have been doing this for 10, 20 years, which majority I will say have been, my gals are older and they've been doing this for 20 plus years, to be honest. They're better at their job. They're more efficient. They do the job faster. They're more thorough. They're experienced on the toughest of the jobs, like those tough, really hardcore jobs. They get them done and they get great customer feedback. And we're converting. Like, we are converting probably 70, 80% of cleaning jobs. So, like, right there, that just tells you. And the only other thing that we can fall back on is our Google reviews. We don't have one single bad Google review. Knock on wood. We're 5 stars. Granted, we only have 46 reviews, but that's 46 personal reviews from a local company that is all positive. So while we acknowledge that the competition is there, at the end of the day, if you are a good salesperson and you have a great personality and you can sell your service, people are willing to pay for quality. And
Yeah.
we're also willing to pay for consistency. I'm not sending a new cleaner to your house every month. You're going to get the same cleaner every time on the job, same quality, and people are picking up on that. So that's all I can do. And in the beginning, I was really I overwhelmed myself with stress and worry about the competition, and then at the end of the day, I said, "Competition is gonna be there no matter what business I'm in. It's always going to be there, right? So you just have to find a way to stand out. Do you have to get a little bit more competitive on your pricing in the beginning to build up a client base and build up Google reviews? And then at that point, maybe get more competitive. Then that's where you can say, okay, I have a brand, I have a presence, I have over 100 Google reviews. My prices are my prices, and I can stand behind it because I have a brand. I still feel like we're kind of in the middle of getting there. Our prices are definitely within the market. Obviously, the solo cleaner is going to beat me every time, but in terms of pricing, we're selling it, we're converting, and I've noticed and I've done my research. I've called cleaning companies. I've got quotes. I'm slightly under the big guys, but I'm much higher than the solo, but it's working and we're making money.
What you're essentially saying is that you don't care that not every customer is your customer. And being in, you know, just over 8 months going into your ninth month in business, in this business,
Mhm.
that's huge because some people don't find that out for years. They want every customer to be theirs. And unfortunately, it's not like that. You don't want it to be like that, right?
Right. So, and like I said, I would just get so worried like, "Oh, discount, discount," like just trying to win every single customer. Whereas I shifted my tone and my confidence. When I do a quote, I quote them, "This is the price." And listen, how I approach it, this is my price, this is what we charge, this is what we can offer, this is who we are. Honestly, I'm booked solid for the next 3 days. I've got a couple spots at the end of the week. Happy to squeeze you in. So I kind of put it like I'm getting business. I'm full. My schedules are full. I might be able to fit you in at the end of the week. How's that sound? Like that's kind of the approach I'm going with and how I'm talking to my customers. Whereas like I had to train my VA, she was like, "Oh, that price doesn't work." Like, "Well, what is your budget?" No, our price is
Yeah.
our price. If you want to offer a 25 offer new customer promo, offer that. We're not going any further. I'm not dipping below a 45% profit margin on any job because it doesn't make sense when I calculate my cost per lead into that.
For sure.
So I stand by my pricing. In my tone, I kind of demonstrate scarcity. We're filling up. End of month move outs we are jam packed. If you need a move out, I suggest getting booked now if you want to get in. And just shifting my tone to that. Like it's confidence in your voice when you're selling this stuff. Like, this is my company, this is my prices, take it or leave it.
Love that. How are you prioritizing, your and managing your time between this business, the bookkeeping business, and just day-to-day life?
So I have, 3 web browsers up all day. I have my web browser for bookkeeping, I have my web browser for cleaning, and I also have a CPA partnership that does a lot of business with me. So I am constantly toggling between all of that. And what I do is for my bookkeeping, I have a project manager. I'm monitoring all my businesses all day long. My VA, he's answering calls, he's booking jobs, he's handling the schedule, he's doing the follow-up, he's asking for the Google reviews, he's doing all of that. So I don't need to like and honestly, I'm just overseeing it. I'm looking at every call it's taken. I have open phone for my phone system. I pay extra for the recorded calls. I listen to every call, whether it's that day or that evening. I'm providing feedback on my calls to my VAs. And I don't know, I'm extremely organized and I'm popping in and managing my schedule very well. But I also,
What's
again, I have have VAs, and in my other business, I have a project manager that's keeping the inbox clear, responding, sending financial statements every month, answering questions. So like I've got both of them kind of like on autopilot. So I sit back, my focus is marketing, expanding, systems and operations, monitoring my sales, monitoring my conversions, working on advertising, making sure I'm happy with that, tweaking that. My focus as a business owner is not in the day to day, it's on the overall business structure and making sure that we're profitable, we're growing, our ROI is positive, and the ROAS is positive, and again, offering as much positive and constructive feedback to my VAs as I possibly can. And I live in this day and night.
So that's your leadership style is positivity and just making sure, a little bit stern when you need to be and just living in it day in and day out, it seems like.
Yeah, like I mean, I have open phone on my laptop, my iPad, my personal phone, and my business phone. So I'm not missing a beat. I see every call that comes in, I see every text message that's coming in, and I'm monitoring to make sure every task is getting followed through on. So I'm on it like a hawk. Like I may have a VA that's doing it, but I'm still seeing it and I'm watching and I'm listening all day every day just to make sure that the quality's there. And again, like I don't want them to just like, hey, here's a business, take off. Again, I don't hire anyone that's brand new and offer them training from the ground up. If you're coming in, like you need quality experience. I need to know where you came from. I need to know the systems that you understand. Are you familiar with this business? Have you worked in this business? So I'm definitely very mindful of who I bring on to help me because, I don't have time to sit and train someone from day one because that's going to kill my revenue if we're sitting here wasting time on someone that's not experienced in the industry or the systems when we could just bring in someone with the experience, pay them a little bit more and have higher conversions.
Yeah, absolutely. And setbacks, failures, that always happens in life, in business. How are you handling that?
I mean, the biggest setback was trusting that the money that I spent with a marketing agency and doing Facebook ads from day one. I would say between ad spend and the marketing agency, I spent like 15 grand, but I made like 38 grand. So, yeah, but when you really look down, like I have an Excel sheet that I update every single week. I track my revenue. I track my number of leads that came in. I track the number of new customers that I converted. I look at my ad spend, total leads in, cost per lead, conversion rate. I have my own built out spreadsheet that I created. I'm tracking that every week to track our conversion rate and cost per lead. So yeah, I'm monitoring it, but what I was learning is this business is this Facebook marketing was not working. And maybe it was because I was with the wrong agency because my new guy that's doing it, he's spending 20 bucks a day and he's got cost per lead at $6. This guy was spending $75 a day, 7 days a week, cost per lead, 25 up to $45 cost per lead. So I was just clearly with the wrong agency. So that was frustrating, but it's like, okay, I don't know. I'm learning. And I'm also only 5 months into this business. I have time to make mistakes and learn. Okay. So again, that's where we made the switch. Met Parker, got off Facebook, got on LSA. We're probably going to do 25, 28 grand this month. And this is September. In May, I only made $5,000.
All in your first year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then that's when he was just like different ways to like pick up extra income, like offer additional services to your existing clients. Offer carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, window washing, pressure washing, find a contractor. And how we even went about that was how I found my partners for those services. I would search for window cleaner near me. Then I would go to Google Maps and I would find like the person that's like in 20th position, 19th position. They're not spending any money on marketing. But then I go and look at them. But are they experienced? And maybe they just are an older person that is great at what they do, but they don't understand the new age marketing, SEO. So I start talking to people, interviewing them, getting to know them, teaching them about me, who am I, where I'm from, what I want to do, what I'm trying to do, how I can offer them more money. Like I handle the billing, I handle the customer service, I handle client acquisition, I handle the follow up. You literally show up, do your job, and get paid and leave. You don't got to deal with none of that stuff. And here's my rates. People are more than happy to partner with you on that. Now I'm not going after the top 3 in the Google map because they know what they're doing.
Right.
Like they don't need a partner. They're making money because they're in the top 3. So they're probably crushing it organically. So I go for the people that are towards the bottom of the Google map pack that probably needs a little help with their revenue. Maybe they can do a great job, but need some help with some more revenue, looking for other sources, and that's where I partner.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
And motivation, drive, I mean, it seems like you don't need it. It seems like
It's there.
it's
Like,
there, it's in you, it's in your blood. You wake up and go. If you even sleep, you have open phone on 6 different devices. You're like, I'm
I'm
just
plugged in
plugged in.
24/7. Yeah. I'm plugged in 24/7 because it's like I worked so many years in corporate America and now I have this business. Like it's mine. I built this. Both of my companies. So like for number one, like I'm proud of myself for being able to take that risk. Like I had no idea if my bookkeeping agency was going to work. I took a pension and left and took a risk. I went from corporate America making $30,000-$40,000 a month in commissions to going and trying to start a bookkeeping business. I was driving Uber in the morning, taking my kid to school, driving Uber, coming home, working on the business, getting my kid from school, going back to driving Uber, working on the business at night, until I was able to make enough connections. I've never spent marketing on my bookkeeping business, never. I've built that up purely through networking with CPAs, 100%. Um, and I had no idea. And like I said, year 1, 140 grand, year 2, 240 grand. And who knows what we'll make this year? I know we'll surpass it. But just to see, like, after that, I was like, I am built for this. I love this. And I love like starting up a business, like that startups phase, like where you're like business name, logo, getting your website built, getting structured, finding your marketing message. How are you going to stand out? Market research. That part right there is like, I will sit up till 3 in the morning working on that because I love it. Like
It's like a drug.
it's a drive. It's a drive. You know, Private lending and JP Morgan, like whatever. My paycheck is my paycheck no matter what I do. But now my efforts do equate to a dollar amount. Now, yeah, in corporate America, I got my bonus, but it's like, grease the wheel, like, you know who to talk to, what managers to make happy, whose best side to get on, right? That's how corporate America works, whether we like it or not. But now, like my efforts and my work ethic do equate to dollars. And so the harder I work, the more I put into my company, the more money I'm making. And that is addictive, in my opinion.
Uh, 100%. That there's a sad truth that if you work for a big corporation or any business, suddenly you pass away. The next day, there's a job posting looking to replace you. And it's the sad reality. Working for yourself, building up something, building your own business, putting in the same amount of hours and more to get what you want, to get what you deserve, it's a whole nother feeling. It's like a feeling of euphoria once you start seeing success. Sometimes it doesn't even need to get that to that point. Like you said, you could be in the beginning choosing the name, the logo, the colors, your message, and that alone is enough to get you to just be like, it's it. I'm done. Never working for anybody else ever in my life again. I am my own boss. I'm going to die on this hill. Doesn't matter. It's go time, baby.
Exactly. And it's also something like this is easily a business that I could leave. Like, this doesn't have to go away. Like, at the end of the day, Like, that's why another reason, like, I chose bookkeeping because no matter what level of state that this economy is in, there is always going to be people making money. When the economy is at its lowest, there are people becoming millionaires, right? And at the end of the day, there's always going to be businesses that need bookkeeping. I knew it was going to be a safe bet. And now with residential cleaning, people are like just becoming so busy and like entrepreneurship is such a thing and people are traveling, like people are learning like you don't have to be glued to a desk and work the 9 to 5 no more. But with that, people aren't home. They need their homes cleaned. So like residential cleaning is always going to be a thing, like because just like with the economy, when people like there's going to be people like that are going to tank in the economy and they don't have money, they can't afford it. There's also going to be people like, I'm making crazy money in this down economy. I don't need to clean my house on my own anymore. I can hand that off, buy back some of my time and put it into my business. So like that's how it's no different, right? From the business owner, outsource your bookkeeping to me, buy back your time, focus on your business, grow your business. Residential cleaning, buy back your time. Don't do the deep cleaning on Saturday morning. Go do something fun with your family. Hire us. Buy back your time. No different, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what it's all about. Like, you're buying back time, you're trading a service for time. So again, it all comes down to sales, right?
Right.
Well, I think both of these industries are an amazing industry to be in. And the home service business is something that will always be needed. If it's not the cleaning, it's the carpet, it's the upholstery, it's the window washing, it's the pressure washing, eventually gutter cleaning, right? These services are always going to be needed because there's homes everywhere and they all need help in somewhere. So this is definitely a smart industry to done.
Something AI can't take. AI will help you
They're
with
taking a
automating
while,
things,
they're taking a lot.
but AI will not be in your house cleaning.
No, well, unless you get a robot from Tesla, and
And even then, it could only go so far.
can
I
only
got a
go so
robot
far.
vacuum for my basement, and it only picks up the dog and cat hair. That's about it.
Yeah, are they gonna deep clean that oven? No.
No.
They are.
It might, if it stops working, I'm gonna throw it in there and it's gonna deep clean it.
Right, right. Yeah, no, like there's some things like I mean, there's even the threat of AI coming after bookkeeping too. Like we hear it every day. But at the end of the day, what I learned is AI is not taking my job. AI, I've quickly adapted to it. AI is allowing me to do my job more efficiently and faster, right? Where I used to do a diagnostic review on a client and then send back the summary and send back a whole write up. I would spend 35, 45 minutes. No, now I take my results, throw it in my chat GPT, spits out my quote, my email to the client. I spend 2 minutes on that max, where I used to spend an hour on that. So it's not about like AI. Yes, it's here. And I think it's great. I think it can definitely allow us to become more efficient and be stronger in our jobs and our marketing and our messaging. Use it to help you. Like don't look at it as a means of this is going to hurt me. Like no, it is definitely here and it is I mean, there's kids that are making way more money than me because of AI.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
put it that way.
that's the wild part.
That's the reality. I'm not there, nor will I ever be, but I've definitely adapted and learned how to see how this can really help me. And, social media, marketing, content, it's really, really helped us there.
So with hiring, you mentioned you have contractors, team, and you mentioned you're always running Indeed, right? It's you're always looking for new help. What's your hiring process look like?
Well, up until recently, it was kind of a headache, but we now have automated that process. So I keep an ad open on Indeed for this area. And when people, I look at their experience, I look at their resume. If I think they're going to be a great fit, I'll send them a text message. Hey, saw your application on Indeed. Love to chat. Please fill out our hiring survey. So on our website, we now have an apply now link on our website, and that's where I direct all applicants to. And what the hiring link is integrates to our Go High level. And the hiring survey is like name, email, phone number, where are you located, what territories do you cover, what is your availability, how many years of experience do you have, do you carry general liability insurance, do you have your own cleaning supplies and equipment. Then it gives a picture with like a really tough cleaning job, like a soap scum shower door, oven cleaning, an extreme dust buildup. It gives examples and it's like, how would you clean this, this example? So then it allows them to provide feedback on how they would approach soap scum, extreme dust buildup, dirty oven. And so then I can kind of get a gist, how many years of experience do they have? And then that's the hiring survey. And then that drops that once they complete the hiring survey, they fall into our hiring pipeline and Go High level. And then from there, I can move them to schedule interview and they can book a time with me. I personally just schedule a time and talk to them. And then we do the interview. And if I think they're a great fit, I just slide the opportunity over to extend offer, which then automates a W-9, the cleaner agreement, a non-solicitation agreement, the link for the background check. And then it also requests them to submit photos of equipment and supplies so I can make sure they're equipped to do the job. And then the only thing I do outside of that that's manual is add them to Booking Koala as a provider. But everything else is automated.
Is clean anywhere in that?
So, yeah, that's one thing I have not done. I have not done the test clean. I focus on experience. I focus on, gaining an understanding of, asking more about different cleaning situations, post construction, because we do a lot of that. So I ask them questions about that and I gauge their experience and I give them a shot. To be honest, out of all of my hires, I would say out of 50, we honestly have like 15 to 17. So we kind of teeter by like deactivating some sometimes when it's slow in an area. But out of that, and based on like the questions I'm asking and just my personal feel for them, I would say out of bad hires that just didn't work out, like 3 people. And it was just not so much the quality of their cleaning. The quality of cleaning was okay. It was more so their responsibility, like their work ethic, right? They had kind of had the not a great attitude, no calls to a job, no show, or late to an appointment. I can only I get it. Life happens, right? I'm a single mom. I respect if, things happen. But with that said, when there's a pattern, there's a pattern. And you're a contractor. I don't have to keep you on. So for things like that, I've had to let folks go. As far as just being a terrible cleaner, no, there was one girl I had. She was really great. She had an amazing personality, very, very high energy, wanted to do the best, but unfortunately lied in the interview and she did a good job on her cleaning, but she took really, 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 really long. So like
Mm.
a job that would take anybody 3 hours would take her like 8 hours. So, and I just don't have time for that inexperience. And because she's a contractor, like you have to be very close in how you operate with a 1099 versus a W-2, right? Technically,
Sure.
contractors. You're not an employee. I can't put you through a full training course and tell you how to do this. And this is how you do it. This is the rules that you follow. This is your uniform. No, that's W-2. I'm not W-2 or 1099. So it just didn't fit. And I loved her personality and I loved her willingness to want to grow, but it just wasn't going to work.
What about a red flag right on an application? What's going to jump out at you and just be like, we're not going any further than the application?
Yeah. Well, very, very, very short responses to how they approach a cleaning. Some folks say, I do not have general liability insurance and I'm not willing to obtain it. Okay. You're a contractor. I have $1 million policy. My policy does not cover you, right? Because you're a contractor. My policy would only cover W-2. then at that point I'm looking at workers' comp. So if number one, if they're not willing to obtain the insurance, if their years of experience are like 1 to 2 years, red flag. I get a lot of applicants that are housekeepers at hotels. I don't even interview them. Housekeeping at a hotel is not, it's not close to residential cleaning. So if that's all their experience is, red flag, don't even hire, don't even interview. What else? Very, very limited availability. That's kind of like, if you're available from like 9 to 12, 2 days a week, it just doesn't make sense. When there's so
Sure.
many when there's so many people out there that are really looking. And then again, like maybe they answer everything great on the application. What I'm learning is people are using Chat GPT to answer the application. I'm not dumb. I know a GPT answer when I see it. So okay, well then that's when I interview them and I really test them. And I can just honestly like sniff out, someone who's not a great fit. And I always take into account some people just aren't great interviewers. They get really, really nervous. But when it comes to talking about yourself and your experience, that's something you should always be able to do. And if you're not able to do that, then you're not a great fit. So those are just some of the things that like I personally look out for. But at the end of the day, the number one thing is experience. I want someone that's, "Oh, I've been a cleaner for, this is all I've done for 20 years." That's who I want. you know, cuz
Yeah.
they're do amazing work. They're going to go above and beyond the scope of work. They're going to make those clients happy and they're going to convert, and conversions mean money for me.
It's all that matters, right? Is the money. Convert and get the money into your pocket and your worker's pocket. We've gone over marketing. You've told us, you started some SEO, you do the map packs, you did Facebook ads. What about networking events or partnerships with like rental property buildings, like apartment complexes and stuff like that?
So I have not attended networking events, but that is something that is in my hindsight. I do want to get out there and start pounding the pavement. I want to get out there, start going to job sites, um, and doing all of that. We have actually begun cold calling. So we've purchased lead lists for like all the businesses within like Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And so we are doing cold calling every day just to try to get a walkthrough to try to build on that commercial space. We have not really tapped into partnerships with like construction companies, but that is also on the to-do list as well for Fort Lauderdale.
Customer loyalty, getting that repeat business. What are you doing for the one times to turn into recurring?
One times to turn into recurring, obviously we got to crush it at that first visit, make them more than happy. That alone, majority of the time sells itself and it will convert. Other than that, we do offer discounts on recurring services. So based on what tier you're recurring, a monthly, bi-weekly, a weekly. We also offer every 3 weeks because oddly enough, some people ask for it. So we added it. So based on the level of frequency that we're coming, we offer different tiers of discounts. So we offer discounts. Also, we also, always encourage folks to leave Google reviews. That's very, very important. Hey, why don't you go? Like, you're so happy. Let me think about it. I am happy. I'm thinking about it. You know what? Why don't I knock off 10% more on your first recurring service with us? Sign up today. Just offer discounts because at that point, you have more room for discounting on the recurring service because you've already covered the cost per lead on the first job, right? So this job is recurring. So there is no cost per lead, there is no acquisition cost. So maybe you have a little bit more room to convince them, like, hey, usually the discounts are enough on the frequency. And if we did a great job, like honestly, we really haven't had to go beyond that to convert. Just going above and beyond on that first job, reaching out to them the day ahead of time. Just a reminder, so and so will be arriving at 9 to 10 a.m. for your cleaning. After the cleaning, personal phone call, not text message, personal phone call. Hey, just spoke to so and so. Looks like they've all wrapped up. They're gone for the day. We've taken a look at the pictures. Place looks amazing. How are you feeling? Are you happy with the service? That's our number one goal. How did it go today? So just really having that personal touch right after the service. And like I said, that stuff is selling.
Awesome. Revenue money, we talked earlier. You gave us a little bit of a monthly breakdown. What have you done in total since the beginning of the year? Do you know?
Yeah. So we launched in January and I think we're like right around 75 grand revenue.
Okay. What about closing off the year? What are we looking at in total?
We'll definitely cross over six figures for sure because now we've got a lot of the heavy stuff like the coaching programs, like those weren't cheap. The website build out and then the revisions to the website for optimization, like those were some heavy costs that we had to eat. So now we're behind the heavy costs. And so I have no doubt we'll definitely cross six figures. Now, profitability will be thin on year one just because of the three attempts at finding the right coaching program and the thousands thrown out at that and the thousands put into the website build out and updates. So with all of that behind us, you know, right now with our operating costs and what we are spending on ads, our break even every month is like $9,700. So as long as we make $9,700, anything above that's profitable. So, which we're at, right? So last year was 22 grand. You know, not last year, last month was like 22 grand. This month we'll surpass that. So again, anything over that break even of 9,700 is all profit. And the good thing is I don't need this business to cover my living costs. My other business
Sure.
covers my living costs. So this business, the money can sit in the account, it can accrue. Eventually I'll give myself a salary whenever I'm ready. There's no rush to give myself one. I'd rather take my profit and make decisions that can help improve growth, marketing, expansion, whatever. I'd rather incur those costs now. So then year two, we've already incurred the heavy cost. The structure is built, the territories are there. Now we just focus on making sure we're optimized on our marketing and just crushing it on sales in year two.
Beautiful. Going now into the software, you gave in the beginning of the interview a wonderful lowdown on
Yeah.
on the software and on us. And I mean, that alone, I guess I would know from your answer, but essentially role that technology plays, how big is that in your business day to day?
I mean, without it, we don't have a business, right? Now, could you be a cleaner that's taking Zelle and cash, using a Google Calendar? Sure, you could do that. I know cleaners that do, but you're only going to get so far. I'm all about automation, systems, processes, because in my mind, I'm not looking like with my old business. In those coaching programs, they're like, oh, you know, I just want to have like six clients by the end of the year. I want six clients my first month. So I'm building systems and bringing on a team. Even if I'm taking a loss, I am in scale mode from day one. So I know in order to scale, I need as many automations in place as I can have. I need the best software that I can run my business on. Anything that can automate payment collection is going to speed up the process. So if I don't have these systems, I'm not going to be able to do half of what I'm doing right now. Like I would be at a much lower scale. So yeah, I mean, again, if we don't have the systems, we're basically a solo cleaner that's working out of her phone and on a notepad. And that's not what we're here for.
And you mentioned those a couple other service softwares. When you were starting, you jumped in with us
From day one.
you didn't from day one.
From day one.
What was one feature or what has turned into one feature in the software that you can't live without?
I mean, just the simplicity of booking a call. Like I can be on a phone with a client and I can go to the web, even on the web browser form of booking Koala, I can have the call on speaker. I can book a call. I can book a job in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, collect their card. And then, you know, all of my pricing, I don't have to think about nothing. Bedroom, bathroom, square foot, here's your price. End of story. I'm quoting in seconds. So the quote form, and then the automation on the payment collection. Like I don't have to think about it. Like I could do 8 jobs today. It's going to automatically process after a certain time because I've already got their card on file. So I'm not chasing down payments. Like I had a coaching program and they used ZenMaid and they invoiced every customer. And then after their job, they're chasing down invoices. Why? I don't deal with none of that. I'm collecting a card up front. If you don't want to collect a card, maybe I'll let you do Zelle, but very, very rarely. Like you're giving me a card on file to secure the booking. And if you're not comfortable giving me a card, totally fine. What I'll do is I'll do the booking and I'll send you a quote link and you can enter your card at that time and just hit the book now button there. Okay. And that usually, if there's a comfort level or concern, that usually solves it 9 times out of 10. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. I can just here, what I'll do is I'll get you all booked in. I'll collect all the information. I'll shoot you a link, enter your card information, book now, and you're done. And that's what we do for that. So, I mean, payment collection is a game changer as well. So, once you've done the booking, there's really no afterthought, you know, chasing customers down for payment. I don't deal with that.
Do you use the card hold feature
What's
where it
that?
holds the money? Do you use the card hold feature where it holds the money too before?
100%. I do the 24-hour hold prior to the booking. Customers do say like, "Hey, you've already charged my card." No, but we also I have that language built in on my booking form. I have my cancellation policy and the fee to incur on my booking form, and I also reiterate that on the call quote. So if we book a job, hey, all right, we got you all set. Just a few things I got to go over. I let them know about the hold. This is just a hold to make sure that you do have the funds available to cover the service. The official charge will not clear or go through until after the job is performed. We're 8 months in. I don't have no issues with clients on that.
Love that.
And yeah, and I'm glad I do that because we go to do the 24-hour hold and we get declines. Well, hold on. This has got to be cleared up before we come out tomorrow because, if there's an issue with the card or funds available, I need to know now. Yeah.
It's easy. What about the flip side of that? What's one feature that you would like us to have that you currently don't see?
That's easy. Okay. So the only thing like that is like I have everything I need on the $57 plan. The only thing that, in my opinion, is like kind of frustrating and a drastic price increase is when I need more than having 15 providers. To go over 15 providers, I have to jump up to the next plan. And it's a substantial jump. Again, if I have that problem, that means I'm doing a lot of business and I need a lot more cleaners. Great problem to have. But if every service and feature I need is there and it's available on the $57 plan, like maybe just offering like an upgrade package, like, hey, for an extra $10 a month, you can have 5 more providers. That is my only drawback. When it comes to it and the pricing, like I don't need the advanced plan. We're crushing it. Our operations are seamless, but to jump to that expensive plan for just needing a few more providers, like that's kind of a tough blow.
Okay. Final question here. Something simple. What advice are you giving to your 10-year-old self if you could go back in time and talk to her? What are you going to tell her?
Well, I mean, so that question, I have 2 daughters, right? I have a 14-year-old and a 21-year-old. And I basically like all the things that I did and the things that I wish I could have did different. Like that's what I'm preaching and speaking into them, right? So my 10-year-old self, I look at like my daughters. Now, 6 years ago, a 4-year degree was no option. Like that had to be done. You are going to school, you are getting a 4-year degree. That is a requirement, no questions asked. You are doing it. Ever since then, I'm like, what am I applying for my 4-year degree into my current business? Like a lot of the skills and things that I've learned have been on the job training. I think times have changed. So what I tell them is like, hey, I am all about entrepreneurship. My 21-year-old, she has her own business. She's made like 14 grand in the past 2 months. She lives at home. She has no expenses. Mommy pays her car payment and her car insurance. Like 20-year-old, 21, made 14 grand in 2 months with her own business. But I constantly I help her. Like I help her with her marketing. I mean, she's honestly, she's more advanced on marketing than me. Like I don't know nothing about Instagram. I hand that off to the professionals. I don't even have a TikTok. I have Facebook. That is all. And so for her, it's like she is crushing it on Instagram. Her content, she does all of her own content. She is gaining her own followers. She's like over 1,000 followers. She's booked like every day. So like her watching me has really put that into her mindset. So like for me, it's like find something that you love. But I'm not saying that a college education is not important anymore. I think
Sure.
it still is important, but what I would encourage you to do is go to like a junior college and take the classes that matter. Take a business management class, take an accounting class, take a marketing class. Like these are the things that are going to help you. And if you decide, you know what, I do want a 4-year degree, I'm very passionate, like my 14-year-old, I kind of want to go to school to be a nurse. Awesome. But my goal is just have a plan because I didn't really have a plan. I was just kind of like playing around with options, ideas. I didn't know what I really wanted. Like, I didn't really get my groove till like almost 28. And it's like, don't be me, like find your groove, set your goals, figure it out sooner. Some people are like, they're just kids. The 20s are the years to learn and make mistakes and figure it out. And I'm like, well, true. But if you can figure it out sooner, you can perfect it sooner and you can become profitable sooner. So for me, it's like, I just wish I didn't waste so much time in my early 20s, like just wasting, changing majors, not knowing what I wanted to do. Start thinking now, you know, and start thinking about ideas of, having your own business and, starting your own business and gaining the skills to, grow that business. And you have your mom. If you have questions, I'm here. I can help you with whatever you need. So I offer that to kids.
Love that. Rhea, thank you so much for your time, sharing your business, your wisdom, your insight, everything. It's been a true pleasure. And I wish you all the success in the finishing off of this year and the years to come with not
Yeah.
only Artisan Clean Pros, but your bookkeeping business, your family, everything that you have.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And to everyone watching, thank you for another episode of the Qualified Podcast. We'll see you next time.